San Antonio. Welcome to the Happy Handyman Show. I'm Trudy Chook, broadcasting live for Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware. We're located at 2361 Northwest Military Highway, which is about 2 miles off of Loop 410, right past the light at Lock Hill, Selma. If you're coming from 1604, you just take the Northwest Military Highway exit. We are 9 lights in. Now, the store is going to be open today till 6:30, and tomorrow, for your convenience, 11 to 5. The phone number here is 210-341-1573. But if you don't live in San Antonio and you would like to know about some of the products that I'm going to talk about today, because you're hearing it on WOAI or iHeartMedia, or you're following us on Facebook, just go to happyhandyman.com. Out there you'll see a site that is, yes, you can shop from, but so much information, because that site is really targeted for Houston, because I am in all the papers in Houston. Dad started that a million years ago, and they have been so gracious to keep using us. And so it is the Chronicle, and we're in like 550,000 homes in Houston, and I write an article for them every week. But you can get that article too. You just go out to the site, and it'll say up on a little icon, Trudy's latest article. Click on that. There'll be things that sometimes there's coupons out there, a little more explanation about the product in case you didn't get all of it while you were listening on the radio today. And speaking of radio today, it's going to be a very exciting show, because finally, we are getting some product in that we have, the minute they said shut down, we weren't able to get. Well, now finally, almost 3 years later, we can get it. And one of those products is called Kills Upshot. Kills Upshot. What is Kills Upshot? Kills Upshot is an interior primer. And the reason I like it is so good about spraying watermarks on the ceiling. Can you use other primers? Absolutely, you can. But what will happen is, unless you've got a completely flat textured ceiling, you will pull any kind of texture off of the ceiling the minute you take a brush to it. And Kills Upshot it just sprays directly overhead. Now, it is a solvent-based material, so there is going to be some kind of smell, but this sealer will block out most stains by water. In fact, I've never seen it not cover a water stain. So say you have a little leak, and you want to cover that up because it will leave a dark spot. And then you want to cover that up, and usually this white, most of our ceilings are white. You just do this and it covers it all up. So anything caused by water, smoke, ink, pencils, felt markers, grease, anything like that. It also will seal the odor. So that's not something a lot of primers talk about. We have other primers that specifically say that in the label. But Kills Upshot is really known for covering up water spots on the ceiling. Or if you have a water spot behind a toilet, maybe you had a leak behind a toilet and it left a water spot on the paint behind the toilet, you can still use this. And you just want to make sure when you get done, you turn it upside down, spray it a little bit, and then it keeps it nice and clean. And you need to start with a clean surface, but that doesn't mean that you need to take like a real heavy brush to it. Just take a real light dusting of a rag, because if you have spider webs on that ceiling, you certainly don't want to enclose those in a primer now, do you? Okay, not right now. So this is just a product that we haven't been able to get in a while, and so we got a bunch of it in. And so if you need something like that, come on by the store. Now, earlier I said that primers usually don't mention that they seal off odors too. And there are primers that specifically say odor killing. And one of those is made by Zinsser. I really like Zinsser products. Zinsser does a great line of primers for several different things, but one of my favorite, because I had experience with it, is called an odor killing primer. When I bought my latest house, the previous owner was a heavy duty smoker. Loved him to death. In fact, one time when we have a little more time to talk, I'll have to tell you all about him because he was adorable. He was 91 and full of it, okay? And since he had smoked, probably since age 5, there was a lot of smoke odor in the house, which I knew that going into the house. And so we removed all the flooring, treated the concrete, because if you didn't treat that concrete floor, then whatever smoke was embedded in that concrete would come right back through. Because remember, concrete is like a sponge. It just absorbs stuff. Remember we talked about that when we talked about like if your pets have an accident and they keep going back to that spot, it's because that concrete has absorbed that smell. You can't smell it maybe, but the dog or the cat certainly can, and they keep going back to it. So we talk about BioZap a lot. BioZap's an odor neutralizer, completely odor neutralizer, leaves no fragrance behind. And that's what I treated all the floors with. And that helped a whole lot. And then we scraped the ceiling because it had a real heavy acoustic. And I wanted a different look for the house. And so that took any of the rest of the smoke odor away. And then we put new flooring in, we painted, treated the ceiling. And I thought I was done with it, but I was wrong. And so when I would go off on trips, like if I go to the hardware show or the gift shows or the houseware shows or go visit my daughter or something like that, I'd come home and it was like this lingering smell in the air that smelled of smoke. Well, I don't smoke. None of my friends smoke, and I just couldn't understand where that smoke was coming from until one day I was cleaning out the cabinet and putting new contact paper down and new organizers for all my pots and pans, and my nose fell against the kitchen cabinet because I had not touched the kitchen. A lot of reasons, but mainly because I hadn't made up my mind what I wanted. I knew I wanted something, but I wasn't convinced about it yet. I wanted to wait. And there was the smoke smell deeply embedded in those cabinets, which makes sense. The varnish was old. It probably lacked a lot of integrity. And so that smoke smell just infused those cabinets. And so I found this product called Odor Killing Primer made by Zinsser. I mean, I didn't have to go find it. It was right on the shelf. And it's crystal clear, kind of goes on milky, and then it dries crystal clear. And that's all it took. I just coated the insides with that odor killing primer, and that killed the smell. So if you ever have a problem with odor in wood cabinets, that is an excellent way to take care of them. Now, another product that we haven't had for a long time, and I have a lot of experience with it because I helped someone redo some farmhouse sinks, and he was a professional painter, but he let me look and watch while he was doing it, and so I got to see. He had bought these farmhouse sinks. Of course, they were porcelain, old farmhouse sinks. They looked horrible. They were all completely intact. There was no chips on them or missing porcelain or anything like that. They just were rusted. They were filthy, and they lost their gloss, probably from many, many years of people using like Ajax on them and things like that. and he wanted to bring it back. And I looked at it before he started. I said, there's no way. And he says, yeah, I got this product from your store called Homax Toughest Tile, and I'm going to use that on it. Now, if you go out to Homax and you look at this product online, you're going to see that it doesn't have very good reviews. It just doesn't. People say it bubbled, it chipped, it did this, it did that. I'm going to tell you, the finish and the longevity on these farmhouse sinks has been great. There has not been any problem with those. And so a lot of it, I think, has to do with prep and how you apply the paint. There are two types. There's one that comes in a spray, okay, like this. Oh, well, on Facebook I'm showing these pictures, but it's 2 spray cans, okay? And you need to shake them a lot. And then there is one that is a brushable surface. Okay, that's the one he used. However, he didn't brush it on. He put it in a sprayer. Very, very light coats. He put on about 4 light coats. The first one, it didn't look like much had happened. The second one, maybe a little. The third one was looking better. I could actually see some gloss on it. And the fourth one that he put on, it looked like a brand new sink. So if you're having problems with a sink, a bathtub, maybe your bathtub is, I don't know, pink, green. Do they do Harvest Gold ones? I don't know. Anyway, and you want to make it white to tie it in with everything else. There are other like paint products that are made for that. In fact, Ben Moore makes one called Sticks. It's a primer, okay? But then when you paint over it, it looks like paint, okay? It looks better, okay? Because if you have a really ugly color, it looks better, but nothing looks like the Homex Toughest Tiles. So while we can still get it, come on by and take a look at it and ask me a little more about it, and maybe I can explain a little bit more. But don't go by what it says out there on the internet. It really is a great product. All right, let me tell you where we're located again. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway, and the phone number here is 210-341-1573. And I want to tell you about an event we're going to have next weekend. It's called Knives, Nebo, and Mojitos. Oh my, I think Jill added the oh my. It's going to be next Friday and Saturday, and it is all about case knives, Nebo flashlights. There's also they make all these different kinds with knives and all-purpose tools and things like that. And we're going to have all kinds of sales on that. It is, and I mean, they're going to be serious sales. Well, let me just tell you this. All right. So we have flashlights, and most of them are USB rechargeable. That's the neat thing about Nebo. And we have several different styles. And with any Nebo purchase, you can get a power bank for free. And it's just not a just little simple power bank that you would pay, I don't know, $10 for. You see them all the time at phone stores and things like that. But this one, it's a $50 value. You can plug up to 2 devices into it. And so like if you were like going someplace and say your flashlight ran out, you're stuck on a lonely road, it's dark, and the car's not running. What do? Plug into this power bank. Okay, so, but there's all kinds. We're going to have food. This time we're going to have the Wind and Willow Chipotle Cheddar, the General's Hot Sauce, and I'm going to do something with the maple syrup that they do because it is so good, and I want y'all to see how good it is. And then we're going to do the Lieutenant Blender Frozen Mojitos. Okay, so it's going to be next Friday, next Saturday. If you know of anybody that would be interested in knives and knee bows, you need to tell them about it and get them in here. We've already told some of the guys, because when guys are easy, if you put knives in front of them, flashlights in front of them, they are completely pulled in. And so when we tell them, hey, we're going to have an event next weekend, sometimes it's hard to get guys about events. Men don't shop, they purchase. And so it's hard to get them to look around at stuff. So come on in, take a look around, and take a look at the knee bows and knives. All right, let's talk about a product that I haven't talked about in a while, and that's called Tri-Flow. But I want to talk to you about something else. I'm going to move away from the camera for just a second, and the mic, hang on. Oh, okay, sorry. I wanted to show the people on Facebook this product. As you can see, it's just this long stainless steel piece that goes over the track on a sliding glass door. So maybe you have a sliding glass door that is not working very well anymore. And we tell you, use a little Tri-Flow on it and stuff like that. But sometimes the sliding glass door, most of the time, it's not the wheels, it's the track. The track is dirty, the track is bent, it's out of shape, we've rolled heavy stuff over on top of it. Okay, so you want to straighten up your track as much as you can. And then if it doesn't still, your door still doesn't want to roll, slip this stainless steel track in place. It will give it like a brand new track to roll over. And you want to use a product called Tri-Flow. Now, a lot of people get confused. They think WD-40 is a lubricant. It's not. Okay, Tri-Flow, however, is a superior lubricant. It's a light viscosity, and that means that whatever you spray it on, it's lightweight and it will be absorbed. All right, so there is a test that they do for products like that, and they involve like a bolt, and you put the lubricant down on a flat surface like my radio table, and you spray it on and you let the bolt sit and see how long in 2 minutes it will go up the threads on the bolt. Almost everyone will only go up one thread. So that tells you that it cannot get absorbed into tiny areas. And so if you have places where you want it to go up in there, like maybe in the wheels of the wheels of and the bearings on your garage door and things like that, you don't want it just to sit in one place. You want it to be absorbed into it. Then you want a product. And so Tri-Flow will go up 3 threads on a bolt, which is a little more than 1/4 of an inch. And that's what you want. And the nice part about Tri-Flow is that, hi Jean, is that it does not collect dust. Okay, most of them do. And so it's kind of like a domino effect. You clean it because you're going to want to clean your track first with a little paint thinner on a rag. And then if you didn't have to use a new track, then you're going to spray your Tri-Flow and go over and over and over again to get it worked in through the whole track. And then most other lubricants, then the minute you open the door and you have a little dust, it comes in, settles in that because the oil attracts it, but not Tri-Flow. Okay? All right. Let me tell you about, I want to talk to you about Fiskars and pruning seal and why Fiskars. Okay. Fiskars has got a new product out, And I like it a lot. It is pruning shears, and they have a gear. Okay, that's the coolest part about it. It's a geared product. Okay, so you don't have to have all the muscles of Thor to cut something. You get leverage with this. Well, this new one is called a telescoping bypass lopper. Okay, so it has little deals on it to where you undo them, and you get about an extra 1.5 feet of length on these loppers. So if you're like me and you're petite and you don't like to get on a ladder, then this is great. And since it's got gears on it, you don't have to be super strong. You can just be normal like me, 5'4", and not that strong, and take care of your branches and bushes and trees. But then you always want to remember, when you get done, you want to spray them and all the wounds. It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on your boo-boo. Okay, you put a Band-Aid on your boo-boo, or you put an antiseptic thing on it, because you don't want germs getting in your boo-boo. All right, so this Spectracide pruning seal is like putting a Band-Aid on the cut of your bush, your tree, and so nothing can get inside. In fact, it's very rubberized, and it will keep it, for one thing, it makes it look nice and clean and neat, but it will protect all your limbs and your shrubs and your trees. And the nice part about it, you can use it on other things too. It's very rubberized. It's kind of like Through the Roof, only Through the Roof doesn't come in a spray can. And so you could spray a lot of other things. You could spray your, what's the word I'm thinking of? You could spray your pots, like your gardening pots. You could spray your guttering, okay, in case you had a little leak on it. So the Spectracide is still the best priced of all of them. Some of them get super expensive, but the Spectracide, they've done a really good job of keeping the price down. And right now we have about 24 cans. So if you need some, come get it. All right, real quick. Another thing that Fiskar's put out is this Power Gear 2, and it's for smaller branches and stems. It'll take care of up to 3/4 of an inch. I've had mine, I know it said new, but it really is not new. I've had mine for probably 16 years, and it still works like it's brand new. Okay, let me tell you where we're located. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The phone number here is 210-341-1573. And that's it for this week, folks. It's time for you to roll up your sleeves and get busy on some of these projects we've been talking about. But by all means, you remember one thing. It will always be a great day to paint. See you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, now I can put that aside. I can put my headphones aside, and we can talk a little more closely, because I have some other things here on Facebook. In fact, if you have a question and you want to try to stump me like people try to do, this is the time to write it down. Now, last week we had a question, and she said, or he said, it was a she, that they had a painted bathtub. And at first I thought, a painted acrylic tub, who does that? Well, a lot of people do. And so they had a rust stain on it, because, I mean, if your water's maybe from a well, or you're outside the city water, sometimes you get a lot of minerals in those waters, and they can be rusty. So what can you use? Okay, so this Barkeeper's Friend, it says, and it's MORE, it's a liquid, it's a spray. Now I'm going to tell you, try it in an inconspicuous spot first. Make sure that it does not remove or dull the paint any at all, but this takes care of rust, okay? And I like this because it's a liquid and you don't get any abrasion on there. Now there is, if that won't work, Zud, and I know that is an old product, but it's still around, and it removes grease, rust, and other stains. Like I said, be careful. Don't use a real abrasive pad with this. Maybe use something soft and softly do it and rinse it. And if that didn't get it all, try it again and rinse it. The main thing you want to do is not remove the color on your painted surface, okay? But who wants rust? All right, now here is a product, and then I'm going to tell you about a new garden hose we got in. All right, this product is called Gription. This is really nice tape, okay? It has, and why I got it at the last Do It Best show that we were in, and they talked about, you know, when you're doing your drawers and you put maybe shelf paper down and it slides to the back all the time. This is really good to put on that because it won't slide and it easily removes. It's waterproof, it's non-abrasive, it's allergy-free, it's anti-slip. So anti-slip, you could use it on the back of rugs also, but it's called Cat Tongue, and it is I have used it a lot in my home, and I'm getting ready to, I'm kind of redoing my kitchen a little, and I'm moving some stuff around and putting new paper down, and this is what I'm using to keep it all in place. So if you're having that problem, this is a good product to use. Now, I know we don't talk about food a lot on the hardware store, on the show, but this Hammond's key lime pie chocolate, oh, it is so good. I wish I could smell this right now. It smells just like key lime pie. It's a white chocolate, okay, so, and, but when you eat it, you get chocolate and key lime pie. I know that sounds like that might be weird, but it is so good. And we have we're getting stuff in like this for Easter and stuff like that. So this is more of an adult kind of candy. It's not like a candy that you would want to put in your kids' Easter baskets, but this, or you could just take it for yourself. That's really, really good. All right, I'm going to talk to you about this new garden hose. Okay, why this new? Because there's a lot of garden hoses around, and so why this one? It's a little bit lighter weight. It's not lightweight like a ribbon hose, but it is pretty lightweight. Made in the USA, and it's made by Swan. So if you're familiar with Swan, you know they do a lot of things like that. It has these, see how I'm able to turn that completely around? This is the part that goes into your spigot, okay? This part right here. And then as you're moving your hose around the yard, instead of it kinking, it turns. Now it's just not like that here. It's also like that on the end for your hand nozzle. It'll keep turning. So this is a super nice garden hose to have. It's 50 feet. It's a little over $50, maybe 51, 52, but it's super nice. It's a really nice color, and I like it because it's made in America, and it's got a lifetime warranty on it. So, and it takes up to 400 PSI, which is a lot. So if you're looking for a new garden hose, and if you can't find the non-kink ones are heavy. Do they hold up? Yes, they do. This one's a little bit lighter weight, and it holds up also. All right. Now, another thing that we have gotten in If y'all are not familiar with the store, I would love for y'all to come by and we have an aisle that is completely like for kitchen stuff. And so you know those, they're called Stash, I think, and they're fairly expensive. You'll see them at really high-end grocery stores and things like that. And so I was looking for an alternative to those because they are so expensive. And so we found a supplier, and this one has reusable storage bags, okay? And they're easy to open. They have a little texture on them so you can open them. And then Joey makes some too. It has a little bit of texture on the outside of it. Between this one and this one seems to be the favorite. This one's a little more economical, okay? These are nice. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these in a pack, okay? And then I found these. These are brand new. These are seal and store for dry foods only, and they have an airlock valve on them right there. So you put your stuff in, and then you squeeze out the air and punch it. So it's really nice. And these are all brand new in the kitchen area. And if you haven't gone by our kitchen area in a while, you need to go by there. All right, let's talk about one more thing. Yeah, maybe two. And if you hadn't noticed, we're getting new apparel in and some nice new colors, okay? These are like loungewear, and they are like butter soft. In fact, we brought them in about 3 days ago, and we're almost out of stock. We're gonna reorder, but these are super nice. They come, some of them come with a long legging, and then we also got in some ones that have shorts for those of you that you don't like to wear a legging. And some new shirts that we got in. But be looking, we're gonna have a bunch of new apparel coming in the next week. All right, how many of you have leather? Maybe in your car, or you have a leather sofa, leather recliner, and maybe they get beat up. Maybe you've had your car for a long time, and so the leather looks like it's seen better days. And leather sometimes is hard to take care of because you're worried about using anything because you're afraid it might damage it. The leather in my car gets dirty in the back seat because of little Max, because I'll take him someplace and he'll go walk outside, and if it's at least a little bit damp and he brings it back in, he leaves little muddy paw prints on the back. And so I am always cleaning my leather seats. So I want to talk to you about a couple of different products. Okay, this is called Leather Only. Leather Only. This was originally the very first product that we had for leather, and it's made right here in Houston. This is a family-owned business with 3 decades of family members that do this. They also, if you call them, they do repairs on leather, okay? But what I was really interested in was their one-step clean, conditions, protects, okay? Cleans, conditions, protects. And if you're just cleaning the leather and things like that, or this is just something like you do as a maintenance kind of thing, this product is excellent. I mean, absolutely wonderful. But maybe you pick up a piece, maybe you pick up a sofa that's not new, it's new to you, but if somebody else sold it, and it's got a lot of surface scratches on it, maybe it's lost some color, it looks damaged, but it feels good, okay? Well, you want it to look good too. So the first thing I would suggest is using a product by Howard's called Leather Cleaner. Leather Cleaner is an excellent cleaner. It will take You see a lot of spots on leather, like where people put their arms, where people lay their head, maybe their face and their makeup gets on it and things like that. And you just don't want to use anything to clean your leather with because you don't want to damage it or remove the color or anything like this. And this is super safe for leather, and it does an unbelievable job. I've had people call me. I had a guy that bought a leather recliner, and he brought it over here in his truck, and he says, Trudy, I want to buy that stuff, but I want to see if it works first before I go and unload this thing because I'm giving it to somebody. And so we took it to the back of his truck and we cleaned on it, and it did amazing. Talk about under pressure. It did a super great job, but this is just to clean with, okay? And so maybe your leather, and that gentleman that brought that recliner in, he also, the leather looked dull and it had a lot of surface scratches on it. So maybe an animal jumped on it all the time, the one with nails. So what do you do about that? All right, this stuff is called leather salve. It's made by Howard's also, okay? And Howard's is usually wood products. That's usually what we see that works. But this is for leather, and it's called leather salve. And it is it's what you would think a salve looks like, okay? So you don't have to use a whole bunch of it, okay? It has a nice fragrance. It's a penetrating conditioner. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between leather only and this one. This one's water-based. It does not penetrate because we're just cleaning and adding a little light protection. This one has, let me tell you what's in it. Hopefully I can tell you what's in it. Beeswax and carnauba wax, okay? And it has something else in it too because I can smell it. This is penetrating, okay? So it's this, you just wipe on, wipe off. This you're gonna put on, you're gonna work it in circular motions just like you were working it in. You're gonna let it haze up for about an hour, and then you're gonna get another white rag and you're gonna wipe it off so that you don't leave like an oily residue or anything like that on it. And this is amazing. In fact, if you want to see what it will do, come to my mom's office. I love telling this story, but only when she's not listening. She doesn't listen to the radio show. So one day, I think she must have been bored, she used Windex on her leather chairs in the office. Well, needless to say, they didn't look the same when she got done. It looked like they had all been etched in white cloudiness, and it was a shame because they were expensive chairs. Okay, all right, so I decided I'm gonna see if this will do anything. So I put it on there, and I only did half of one. And y'all need to come in and see it. It put the color back in it. It removed all that white hazing, and they still look great. I have not had to reapply it. It made such a difference. If you've got leather, and so I'm talking about leather chairs and sofas and recliners in your car, but boots, leather boots, saddles, tack gear, shoes, purses, anything that's leather. Anything you don't want to use it on is a suede leather. Okay? All right. Tell you one more thing. We got a whole bunch of switch mats in. These are those little mats that you can change out with different, so seasonal or things like that. And I had a lady tell me, because she got several of them, and she uses them underneath her dog bowls for water and for food. And she said that it just does a real good job, and her dog likes it. So, okay, we'll answer one question. Okay, my good friend rescued an older male kitten, and it started marking things in the house. What can they do to help with that? Okay, so there is a product that is made by BioZap called Kitty Stop. Okay, Kitty Stop. And she asked me what I wanted new in a product, and I told her, I said, I want something that's just specific for cats, because it seems like they leave a different odor than dogs, and they do, and it's because of the enzymes in their urine. That enzyme helps give them a real luxurious coat, long hair. Long-haired cats are worse than others as far as smell. And so this Kitty Stop breaks down that enzyme and removes the odor. And so that would be what I would suggest. That's a really good question. So, all right, let me tell you where we're located. We're located at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The phone number here is 210-341-1573. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be on next week at 3 to 4 o'clock. If you have any questions, you can just save them and put them in for next time. If you think this would be something that your friends would like to see, save it. Send it to them. See you next week.